Hello .NET developers. In this video, we are going to see how to integrate PayPal checkout using its new API version 2. We will implement it on .NET Framework MVC project and C# as a programming language. PayPal has now deprecated API version 1. That means it is best that we developers migrate to version 2 as soon as possible. For those who have never implemented PayPal, don't worry too much about the versions, just follow this tutorial. By the end of this tutorial, you will be able to implement a fully functional payment web page on your website using PayPal Checkout API version 2. This is what you're going to learn today on your own MVC C# project. This video is divided into 3 sections. Section 1 is about setting up PayPal business and test accounts that you must have before you start to code. We will also talk about tools required. Then in section 2, we will touch upon PayPal Checkout.NET SDK, how to use the SDK. PayPal provides a number of SDKs like JavaScript SDK, Java SDK, and .NET SDK. JavaScript SDK is the easiest to implement, but if you do not wish to share your order data to the client side, then server-side SDKs must be your choice. In this tutorial, we will use .NET SDK. Finally, we will implement a C# code for PayPal Checkout. It will be simple Razor View and one MVC controller. You will need Visual Studio and .NET Framework 4.6.1 or later. This is the minimum requirement of .NET Framework that you will need to integrate PayPal version 2. Those of you who already have PayPal Sandbox accounts can directly jump to section 2, that is the PayPal Checkout.NET SDK. For those integrating PayPal for the first time, I recommend you to watch the complete video. So let's start. Let's create PayPal business account first. Open your browser and type the link shown here. This URL may change by the time you watch the video, but you can easily find it out on PayPal website without issues. Open the link and do not enter anything here. Just click sign up if you don't have already a business account. Next, you will be given an option to create a personal account or a business account. Select business account and click next. On the next screen, you will be asked basic details like your legal name, first name, last name, email address, and create a password. Enter the details and click agree and create account. On the next screen, you will be asked basic details like your address and a few tax details based on your country. Enter those and click next. You will be sent a verification email. Check your email, click the verification link and verify your email address. Once you successfully create a PayPal business account, log into it. This is the business dashboard that you will see when you log in. We now need to create sandbox accounts, that is the test accounts. On the top right hand side, click the developer link to go to the developer section. Then under your name on the right hand side, click your name. You will see a dashboard option. Click on the dashboard. This is the developer dashboard. Now this is important. Pay attention to the toggle switch on the top that says sandbox and live. You do not need live at this time. You will click live once you have fully tested your application. So make sure sandbox is selected before going further. And at the same time, do not forget to come back here once you are ready with your code and ready to go live. Click on the live and then generate live client ID and secret. If you don't see something similar to this screen, just make sure you are under My Apps and Credentials. PayPal will create a default application for you. Again, if you don't see any default application under the sandbox checkbox, you can always create a new one by using the Create App button. For now, let's just click the default application link and see what's in there. Under the default application, you will see sandbox account details. The sandbox account, that is the business email ID you will get. It's a test business email ID, which you will be using. There will be a client ID and there will be secret. You need to note down these details because the client ID and secret is something that you will be using in your C# code. Now, once you have noted down the client ID and secret from the default application, let's go to the accounts section. Use the left-hand side menu. Under sandbox, you will find accounts. There are 2 accounts here that will be created for you already. If you don't see these accounts, use the create account button and create the accounts. For most of you, There is no need to create new accounts because the default accounts that's given by PayPal are sufficient to use. The business account over here is the same that you saw in the default application earlier. It's exactly the same account. This will be the account that you will be receiving the money. Next, you have a personal account. This is the account that you will be using to pay the money. Basically, it's the payer's test account. Throughout your development, you will be using these two accounts because these are sandbox test accounts and you will not be touching any real money. Click on the three dots under Manage Accounts for each account and note down the password. Alright, we are all done setting up PayPal accounts. Now you can log out of the PayPal and let's go to the next section, PayPal Checkout.net SDK. In this section, we will download the PayPal Checkout.net SDK, build it and get the DLLs from it. There are multiple ways how you can do it. You can either get the DLLs added to the references in your project, or you can directly add the project into your solution, whichever way you prefer. Now, let's open the browser and hit the SDK URL that you see on the screen here. This URL can also be found in the description box below. Locate the green code button and click download zip. Checkout.net SDK zip will be downloaded. Extract the SDK into your folder. This is the DLL that you will be requiring for your code. It's PayPal HTTP.net DLL. Let's open the solution. Open the SDK solution. Open the core folder. There's a PayPal environment.cs. We'll quickly show you what this file looks like. Look at this. We have the sandbox environment and the live environment, two classes, both derived from PayPal environment. And over here you can see the sandbox environment is pointing to api.sandbox PayPal, whereas the live environment is pointing to the live api.paypal.com URL. Anytime in the future this URL changes, you can come back to this SDK and change the URLs here. Now you don't need to do anything over here. Simply go to the solution and build the solution. And there you go, build succeeded. Let's go to the folders and have a look at the DLLs. That's our bin folder, debug. So this is the URL that you will be adding as a reference to your project, and the PayPal HTTP DLL under the packages lib folder. These are the only two DLLs that you will be taking. So this is the end of our section, PayPal.net SDK. Let's move on to the next section that you have been waiting for, implementing PayPal checkout on your web page. Alright, so here we have a simple MVC project. Now, let's take a look at the references. I have already added the PayPal checkout SDK DLL and the PayPal HTTP.net DLL. These two DLLs are the only two DLLs that you need for PayPal checkout. Just ignore this PayPal which you are seeing on the screen at the moment. This is for the API version 1, it's the older one, just ignore it. Just add these two DLLs. And we are going to ignore all other files here. The only file we are going to check is the controller and one view, index view. It's a very simple view. Everything is hard coded here because this is going to be a complex view based on your shopping cart. Then we have an image button over here where a PayPal image is displayed, and on the click of the button, JavaScript function is called, which in turn calls our controller PayPal version 2, which is here. Now let's take a look at our controller. First of all, do not forget to add the using statements, core, orders, and HTTP as you see on the screen here. Then this is our controller. You're going to initialize the PayPal environment, which is going to be sandbox. Once you're done with your code, Happy with it, ready to go live. Change sandbox to live. Client ID. Here you will put the client ID which you have received from PayPal developer dashboard when you created a sandbox default application, and the secret over here. Let me show you the mapping. So here's the mapping. So this client ID will go here, client ID, and the secret which you saw here will go over here. Let's go back to the code now. So once this is set, you're good to go. Over here we are having a simple action method which will return our default view that we just saw. Then we have this controller PayPal V2. This controller is going to check for cancellations, create the order, and execute the order. And this is the only action method we are going to use for everything. We are simply going to initialize local variables over here. We'll check for cancellation if it's a cancellation or it's a new request. Based on that, we will be creating an order, submitting it to PayPal. Once approved on PayPal by the payer, we will be executing the order. This is where the actual money transfer will happen. All these things happens in this controller. Now, before I explain this controller to you, I'd like to tell you there are two helper classes I have created here. My PayPal payment, which does nothing but simply calls the PayPal API using the SDK classes. There are three simple methods in this class. First method is called client. It will simply take in the environment details, and based on the environment, whether it's live or sandbox, it will instantiate the classes from the PayPal checkout SDK. So if the environment is live, it will instantiate a live environment providing the client ID and secret. Otherwise, it will create the sandbox environment. Very simple. Once the environment class is created, the environment object is created, we will be instantiating a PayPal HTTP client object. So this is nothing but it's a class derived from the HTTP client in the SDK. We simply instantiate the client, PayPal HTTP client, and return it to the caller code. Then we have create order. Again, all these three methods are taking the same PayPal environment object, PayPal setup, which is defined over here. Create order. In this, we are going to create the order which PayPal understands. So this order request is the class coming from the PayPal SDK. It is a very simple class. It has a property called checkout payment intent. Simply put it as captcha as seen here on the screen. And then you can assign purchase units. You can assign as many purchase units as you want. Over here in this tutorial, we are only assigning one purchase unit, but you can assign as many as you want. Just remember that if you are adding multiple purchase units, make sure you provide an ID for each unit. Otherwise, PayPal will throw an error when you call the API. So over here, list of purchase unit. There's a new purchase unit object. Now this purchase unit in turn has a list of items. So this is the actual item that you're selling. You can have as many items as you want. In this tutorial, we have two items, shirt and a pair of shoes. Quantity 1, description. If there is any item code, just put the item code over here. Amount you're selling the item for, the currency, and tax on the item. Now this purely depends upon what your shopping model is, what your shopping cart is. So I will not go in much detail over here. Similarly, other item, add as many items as you want. Yeah, ideally this part of the code will be a dynamic code. It won't be hard coded as you see. Then comes the breakdown class. Over here you will give the currency and the total value that a user will be, your payer will be paying on the PayPal checkout. This is the final value. You can also provide a breakdown of this, total tax on all the items, total shipping on all the items, and the total cost of all the items. It's better to provide all the details here because this is exactly what your payer is going to see on the PayPal screen when he logs in using his PayPal credentials. Then comes the important part here, application context. Over here, you're going to tell PayPal where to redirect the flow once the user clicks pay or cancels the transaction. So here is the written URL. We will be seeing in the controller action method class how we are constructing this return URL, and the cancel URL is nothing but the redirect URL, and the cancel is equal to true parameter appended to it. Then this is another important part. You have to mention security protocol and assign it TLS 1.2. So this is a requirement of PayPal. If you do not set this, if your channel is not enabled for TLS 1.2, PayPal API will throw an error. Then we simply create order create request object. This class is coming from the SDK. Don't worry too much about this. Simply write it request.prefer return is equal to representation. Add the orders object that we have created above in the request body and call client. We have already seen this client class. This class simply instantiates a PayPal HTTP client and returns the HTTP client. So that's the HTTP client getting returned here, and then we are simply executing the request. This is where the PayPal API is called and response is returned. So that's about creation order. If the order is created successfully on PayPal, the response will contain all the valid statuses. We will see this clearly when we debug the code. For the moment, the purpose of this is just to understand the code. Then we have capture order. I will explain when exactly these parts are called. At the moment, just understand a code at high level. Capture order. This is when we have a approved order ID from PayPal. Once we have that, we execute the approved order. And this is where the actual money transfer happens. All right. Yeah, and this is just a my PayPal setup class. It's nothing but it just holds few public properties required throughout the transaction. Environment, sandbox alive, client ID secret, redirect URL, approved URL which the PayPal will be sending us, where we will be redirecting our payer, and the approved PayPal. So this class is just to hold the values. Now let's quickly take a look at our controller. You will get an idea when we debug the code. It's just the introduction for this action method. So this will accept the cancel is equal to true or cancel is equal to false based on what user selects on PayPal. We are simply instantiating the PayPal setup class here, providing it the environment, client ID, and secret. This object is nothing but a list of string. It is simply to hold the status messages that you will be displaying it to the user on the view. The very first thing is we are going to check whether it's a cancellation. If it's a cancellation, we do not do anything. We simply inform the user that the transaction is cancelled and we return the view. If it's not a cancellation, we move ahead. We check the payer ID and the approved order ID. If these values are null, that means the payment is not yet approved, the order is not yet approved. So we simply create the order. So here's if the payer ID is null, we create the order. We have already seen in detail how we are creating the order. You'll get to know in more detail when we debug the code. If we have a payer ID and approved order ID, then we simply instruct PayPal to execute the order. So this is our controller code, very simple. Now before debugging, I will explain the flow. All right, so here I will quickly tell you the flow, how the control will flow from your view to controller to the PayPal API SDK. Now, the very first, the payer will be shown the PayPal button with the order details. When your payer clicks the button, the controller is called. The controller will create the order and submit the order to PayPal using HTTP client API call. If everything is okay, PayPal will create an order and provide a token along with the redirect URL back to the controller in its response. Checking the response, everything is okay, you will redirect the user to the PayPal login screen where the user will be entering his PayPal credentials and logging to his PayPal account. Once the user does that, user will be shown your order details and continue button and cancel button. User has option to cancel the transaction or continue with the transaction. If the user continues, PayPal is going to provide you an approved order ID back to the controller. Using that approved order ID, you will again call another API using the HTTP client, instructing PayPal to execute the transaction. This is where the money transfer will happen. In return, PayPal will give you transaction ID and the status of the payment. Let's go back to the code. Now let's debug it. I have already set starting URL as this controller. So as soon as I hit go, we will hit the breakpoint here. Let me just check. Yes, we have set all the breakpoints here. So I can show you step by step. Let's run it. That's our web page. Our controller is called here. And that's our breakpoint. So we are not going to do anything here. We are simply going to continue with the default view. Your shopping cart details will be shown here. PayPal. Let's click this. This controller is called, as you can see here, on the click of the button. We are simply calling this controller. Obviously, cancel is null here because this is the first time payer has clicked the button. Let's go ahead. Over here, we are going to instantiate the PayPal setup with environment, sandbox, client ID, and secret. Then the list of string object to hold the transaction messages. Let's check whether it's cancellation. Null. It's not a cancellation because this is the first time user is clicking the button here. Let's check. Obviously, this is going to be null. That means we need to create order. Here we are creating a redirect URL. Basically, this is nothing but the same controller. The scheme, authority, controller, and this very action method. That's our redirect URL. Now, response. Let's create the order over here. Remember, this is our class, which helps us to create the order. Let's go in, create order. HTTP response null over here. This is the order object we have seen in detail. We will just go ahead now, set the security protocol, create order, create request, everything as it is, request body, get the client. Now we have a sandbox environment, so it will instantiate a sandbox environment. Let's create the client, return it, and execute the request. Response, we are simply returning the response. Let's check the response here. Status code is created, so order is created on PayPal. Let's get the order details from here. So let's check the status, created. So that's the ID. That's the payment intent we have provided, which is captcha. Now, this is another important part. There is a links object here. We have 4 links. You just have to look for link rel is equal to approve. And that's where you are going to have the approve URL. Let's put a breakpoint here and a breakpoint here. F5. We have the approve URL. So this is the URL you are going to redirect your payer with the token number created for your order. Now I'm again going to press continue. So approve URL is a valid approve URL. Redirect your payer to the URL. I'm going to hit continue. That's the end of the action method. I'm going to hit continue. The user is getting redirected. Now over here you will be using the Sandbox user account. That is the Sandbox personal account which you have created earlier. So Sandbox personal account. Let me just grab password for this. So this is a test account. Notice the URL over here, sandbox.paypal.com. So this is the order here. Exactly the same as you have created the order object. Your payment details. Let's continue. Now on clicking continue, PayPal will call the redirect URL which you have provided to PayPal in the order object. And there it has called the controller. Cancel will be null. We know that. Everything remains the same. Set up the PayPal setup object. List of string. Cancel is null. This time you have the approved order ID from PayPal and the payer ID. So now we know payer has also approved the order. That's why we have approved order ID here. Because payer has approved the order, we will simply execute the transaction now. Capture order. We will go inside the capture order method. Over here, this is the approved order ID provided by PayPal. Using that, we will be creating the object for orders capture request. Add it to the request body. And this is the same client object. It will simply instantiate the PayPal environment and return the PayPal HTTP client. This time we are not going in this method. And execute the method. That's why the payment is getting executed. Yeah, we got the response. Response is returned. We'll inspect the response here. Status code created. Get the order details. Status complete. Check all the other details. Get all the details, whatever you need to display it to the user. Do all your null checks before getting the transaction ID. And keep on adding to the display messages. And this is the view we are returning to the user. Payment successful. Completed payment ID. This is basically the order ID and this is the actual transaction ID. So that is it. You have successfully implemented PayPal checkout on your website. Now, before closing it, let me quickly show you the cancel transaction flow. I'm again starting the project. That's the controller called here. It's a default view. Simply return. Click PayPal. Again, it's coming to this controller. I'm simply going to hit continue now. So we have approved URL. We are going to redirect the user. Now this time I didn't get a login screen because I'm already logged in and the credentials are remembered. So this is the order. This time I'm going to click cancel and return to test 2. So cancel, as you can see, this time we have cancel is equal to true because that's what we have instructed PayPal to do so in the application context. Now go here, check the cancel. Cancel is true. Just tell the user that you have cancelled the transaction. And so we have completed a successful transaction. We have also seen a cancelled transaction. Now the PayPal checkout is implemented here. I would just like to show you the transactions on the PayPal accounts. And that's how you will be verifying all the details of your transaction. Sandbox.paypal.com. Yeah, so this is my account. As I'm already logged in, you can see here the transaction of, this is the payers account, $165 minus, as you can see, the order details here in PayPal account. Now let's log out and let's check the seller account. That is the business account. Log in, Sandbox business account, password for business account, view transactions, and that's there, the completed transaction, $1.65 AUD. PayPal will debit its fee and the net amount will be credited to your seller account. Alright, that's the end of the tutorial. Thank you so much for watching. If you have any questions, ask me in the comments section. Thank you. Have a good day.